Drugs have been one of the most accessible substances to get addicted to since ancient times. Some drugs make you feel euphoric, but we all know that euphoria is only the start of a dead end. Do you know about the biggest drug bust in Europe? Recently, police caught 109.9 tons of illegal drugs in Europe. Watch the video till the end to find out how police found this amount of cocaine. This is CrimeFlicks, your #1 stop for crime stories. You won't believe it, but this story happened very recently and made it clear that this is one of the most extensive raids in history. Antwerp is now very much known as the drug trafficking capital of the country. Cocaine seizures at the point of Antwerp, the primary entry point for illegal drugs into Europe, reached a new high last year as Belgian and Dutch officials grapple with growing concerns over the influence of violent international gangs. In 2020, the port of Antwerp accounted for 40% of all cocaine seizures in the EU. Cocaine is perhaps the ultimate criminal steroid. It's brought corruption to the local authorities and violence to the streets. Even though the politicians state if this doesn't stop, within 10 years the whole place will start being a narco-capital, and the whole state will turn into a narco-state. So how did this happen? Belgium is a little nation, well known for its fries, chocolate, Smurfs, and EU red tape. Yet it's now developing a reputation as the center of Europe's cocaine trade. More than any other country in the EU, approximately 100 tons of the narcotic were captured in Belgium in 2021. This video investigates why drug traffickers use the port of Antwerp and what can be done to stop them. This all started when an 11-year-old got killed. Yes, unknown shooters attacked her home with a Kalashnikov assault weapon, killing an 11-year-old girl with 5 gunshot wounds. She was an innocent bystander. Fears of vengeance in Antwerp compound the grief of a little girl's death because the victim was the niece of Othman El Balouti, one of Belgium's most prominent alleged heroin dealers. Officials assert that El Balouti, who has fled to Dubai for protection since it has been unwilling to detain and deport Belgian suspects, is responsible for a significant cocaine smuggling enterprise throughout the port of Antwerp. Even though there were 1,150 murders in Belgium in 2020, with 11.5 million people, violence is still relatively uncommon. A multidimensional gang war has been raging in Antwerp due to the massive amounts of cocaine that have been entering the port. Since last summer, more than 50 bombs and shootings on buildings have been connected to essential traffickers, according to the authorities. This whole raid turned into a raging point where Belgium provided drug traffickers with nearly ideal conditions for success, with a weak central government, a political atmosphere, and a law enforcement system sharply divided between opposing French and Dutch-speaking factions. The European Union's single market, a port so big that only 2% of incoming containers, according to officials, can physically be checked, a booming trade in easily laundered diamonds and gold, and easy access to a modern transportation network spanning northern Europe have all combined to create a monster of organized crime. According to Van der Aa, everyone intermarries. It's difficult to kill someone married to your cousin, and it will have consequences both in Antwerp and Morocco. Instead, they target buildings and detonate mini bombs. It's a pattern of intimidation and pressure. Make your opponent's family live so horribly that they're compelled to return the cocaine that was stolen, or whatever else sparked the argument. Only the nearby port of Rotterdam moves more containers annually than Antwerp, Europe's largest physical port and second busiest for cargo. Since 2012, when Moroccan cartels started to dominate the cocaine trade in northern Europe, there has been a significant increase in cocaine trafficking in Antwerp. So, what do you guys think about this? Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications whenever new crime-related videos are posted. Let's continue. Although the gangs are connected, a string of high-profile Dutch arrests, including that of Dutch-Moroccan cartel boss Ridwan Taghi, who is currently facing life in prison for drug trafficking and multiple murders, have only served to increase awareness of the gangs based in Antwerp, who are under much less legal scrutiny than their Dutch counterparts. Well, Antwerp appears to have been planned by a city planner with a financial interest in money laundering and the trafficking of cocaine. The renowned Bourse district of Antwerp, already the hub of the diamond trade in Europe, has a long history of utilizing precious stones for money laundering. Crime and the unlawful economy account for between 3 and 5% of the GDP in most European towns. This has been a turning point for the state. However, things are drastically different in Antwerp. Due to the scale, according to the former police officer who wished to remain anonymous to avoid upsetting their new employer, Antwerp's financial criminal underworld has always been compelling, thanks to the diamond, gold, and historical smuggling centered around the port. But now that cocaine trade has exploded since 2012, an effort to clear up unlawful activity would smash the economy. There isn't the political will in Belgium to do everyday government tasks, so there's no chance of a politician seriously supporting a crackdown that would affect the economy to this extent. The history is also related to this terror strike, and the upsetting reality will shock you. This person claims that the growth in ISIS-related terror strikes from 2013 to 2016 diverted resources away from Antwerp's traditional crime and law enforcement in favor of fighting terror networks in French-speaking regions. Officials also stated that Antwerp only had a minor ISIS problem compared to Brussels and other locations. Yet the official source argues that during the past 10 years, the cocaine trade has expanded because of the attention paid to the ISIS threat. They've begun investing some resources in the drug trade to replace those removed for ISIS, but there just isn't enough money for more police, more container checks, and more financial crime investigations. The federal police are educated and bright, but they're a bunch of cops with no expertise in a major financial criminal investigation. It's tough to find and compensate financial experts who can monitor illicit money flows across borders. And there are people who aren't convinced Belgium, which depends on ports, diamonds, and gold trade, all complex commodities, has the resources or motivation to honestly look at this. How can they expect to have the personnel or expertise to follow hundreds of millions of euros going between Belgium, Morocco, Dubai, and Panama if they can only scan 2% of the containers in Antwerp and have more than 50 full-time police officers simply working on cocaine in the port? Well, only time will tell what is the real reason behind all of this. Because Europe doesn't pool its resources as frequently as cartels do, a small nation like Belgium can find itself hopelessly outmatched. In the whole scenario, the raid made us realize how brutal drug trafficking can be. So, what do you think about the biggest drug bust ever in Europe? Do you think the drugs will stop, or will Belgium drown because of this? Well, we hope we'll get many answers soon. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, CrimeFlicks. We'll see you later with the next case.